Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to enable Hyper-V. Hyper-V already comes pre-installed with Windows 10 Professional, and I believe also Windows 11 Professional. So the only thing that we have to do is to head over to, let's click on the start menu and type Control and press Enter. Here I'm going to click on Programs and Features, and I'm going to click on Turn Windows Features on and off. Here I want to scroll down, and when it says Hyper-V, I want to enable that and go ahead and click OK. I have already went ahead and enable it, so I'm not going to go over the process again, but let it finish. Click OK, and you might probably want to, once it's finished, you might need to restart the computer. So I'm going to go ahead, click Cancel, and close the control panel. The second thing that we need to do, we need to head over to Microsoft. Actually, I'm going to open the browser, and I'm going to type Windows Server 2022 ISO download. I'm going to press Enter. If I scroll down, I want to head over to the Microsoft website where it says Windows Server 2022 Microsoft Evaluation Center. So I want to click on that. And here I want to go over to Get Started for Free, and I'm going to click on Download the ISO image. So I'm going to click on that one. You're probably going to have to enter some personal information like your first name, last name, your email, the name of your company. And once you enter that information, go ahead and click Download Now. Once it finishes downloading, let's go ahead and open Hyper-V. And here on the right hand side, notice that we have some actions, links, and so we want to click on New in order to create a new virtual machine. And let's go ahead and click Virtual Machine. This is going to launch the new virtual machine setup. I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Here I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to name mine Windows Server 2022, and since I already have one created, which is this one here, I'm going to name it 2022-1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Choose the generation of this virtual machine. Let's go ahead and click on Generation 2, and let's go ahead and click Next. For the physical memory, I'm going to type 4096. That's 4 gigabytes of memory. I'm going to leave it as use dynamic memory, and I'm going to go ahead and click Next. For the connection, we're going to set it to default switch. We're going to change this one later on, so I'm going to go ahead and click Next. For the create a virtual hard disk, I'm going to leave it as default. And here, the minimum requirement for installing Windows Server 2022 is 32 gigs. So I'm going to set it to 62 gigs. I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And I'm going to choose to install an operating system later. So I'm going to leave it default, click Next, and finally click Finish. Alright, so once you finish creating the virtual machine, I'm going to right click on the virtual machine, and then I'm going to go to Settings. Here in Settings, I'm going to click on notice that we don't have a DVD drive in our virtual machine, so I'm going to go ahead and add one. So I'm going to go over to SCSI controller, and then I'm going to click on DVD drive, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Add. Alright, so next from my DVD drive, I want to click on Image File, and then I'm going to click on Browse, and I'm going to browse to the location where I have my Windows Server ISO image. I'm going to click on it, click Open, and finally click Apply and OK. double click on Windows Server virtual machine and click start. Okay, so press any key when prompted. You might need to react pretty fast, so I'm going to click on action, reset, and this is going to boot from the ISO image. The installation process is pretty straightforward. So here on the first screen, we need to select the language options. I'm going to leave a default, and I'm going to click next. And next, I'm going to go ahead and click install now. Next, we need to select what type of Windows Server installation we want to do. Notice that we have 4 options here. The first one is a standard evaluation. The second one is a standard evaluation with desktop experience, data center, and data center desktop experience. We want to select the second one, since this option is going to provide a desktop environment. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. And next, I'm going to accept the license agreement. Click on the checkbox, click next. And here I want to select the second option, since it will be a clean installation. Here I'm going to partition my hard drive, so I'm going to click on new. I'm going to select the defaults. I want to use the full hard drive and click apply. Click OK. Once the hard drive has been partitioned, I'm going to make sure I select the biggest partition. This is where we're going to install the operating system, and then I'm going to click next. At this point, the installation process is copying the files from the ISO image to the hard drive, and then it's going to proceed with the installation of the operating system. Okay, so once the installation restarts the system, go ahead and enter the password for the administrator account. Make sure you don't forget this password. So I'm going to enter mine and repeat the password. Go ahead and click next, and go ahead and click finish. And this is going to complete the installation process. So next, let's go ahead and notice that you might get these dialog box. This is basically prompting you to connect to Windows Server 2022. This is only allow if you enable enhance mode. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and close right here, and I'm going to go to actions, and I'm going to click on Control Alt Delete, and this is going to send this keyboard combination to the Hyper-V virtual machine. Okay, so next I'm going to enter my password and press enter. Okay, and this completes the installation. So when you want to start and run a virtual machine, basically you select the virtual machine, and here on the right hand side, notice towards the bottom that you have options of the things or the tasks that you can do with that virtual machine. So for example, notice that I can connect, I can start the virtual machine. I can start the virtual machine without connecting to it, which means that it's running in the background. This is what is known as headless mode. I can create a checkpoint. I can revert to a previous checkpoint and other tasks. But the way that you go about connecting to a virtual machine is by either double clicking on the virtual machine or click on connect. So I'm going to double click on it. And this is going to start the virtual machine connection application. And this this is going to start the virtual machine connection. Notice that the virtual machine is still not running. So in order to start the virtual machine, I'm going to go ahead and click start. And notice now that the virtual machine is it's running. The state changed to run. The state changed to running. So this virtual machine connection it's somewhat limited as far as the experience that we have when working with the virtual machine. And notice that as the virtual machine starts, I get this connect to Windows Server 2022, in which I can set the resolution of the display for the virtual machine. And if I click on show more options here, notice that I have this local resource tab. If I click on it, notice that I have some extra settings for remote audio and local devices and resources. Here I can select to have printers connected to my virtual machine. I can use the clipboard, which means that now I can copy and paste text between my host operating system and the virtual machine and vice versa. And if I click on more, notice now that I have the options to have the drives on my local system available to my virtual machine. I can connect the C drive, the DVD, any network map devices that I have, and also plug and play devices. So this is a very helpful feature. If you connect to your virtual machine using this option, this is what is called enhanced mode. And basically what you will be doing is creating a remote desktop session to your virtual machine. In order to enable enhanced session, you have to, the way you get to enhanced session is by clicking on view and then click on enhanced session. If you don't have this available, the way you go about enabling it is by going to your Hyper-V manager and click on your local system, and then here on the right hand side click on Hyper-V settings. Here on the left hand side click on enhanced session mode policy and make sure you enable allow enhanced session mode. Okay, and here what it says under the user section, click on enhanced session and also enable this. So you need to enable both of them. Once you enable it, go ahead and click OK by going into view, enhanced session, and then click on connect. Alright, so notice now that the resolution changes and it gives you this remote desktop interface in which you can log in from here. You can exit enhanced session by uncheck this enhanced session and it'll go back to virtual machine connect mode. You can also click on view and use the zoom level. Notice that mine is now at 75%. You can set it to 100 or 125. I'm going to set it to 100 and notice that the size of the virtual machine increases. Checkpoint is a very useful feature of Hyper-V. Every time you make big changes to the operating system, create a checkpoint. This will allow you to go back to that specific point in time if anything goes wrong. In order to create a checkpoint, you click on action and then click on checkpoint. And this will allow you to give it a name. So I'm going to name mine test checkpoint, and I'm going to click on yes, and notice that it created a checkpoint, and this is the current status of the virtual machine. In order to configure networking for a virtual machine, we need to configure what is called a virtual switch. And a virtual switch is nothing more than a device that connects multiple computers in the network. So in order to create a virtual switch, I'm going to head over to the virtual switch manager and then I'm going to click on it. And this is going to start the virtual switch manager interface. Here I have three options. So Hyper-V provides three types of network or switch or virtual switch for our computers to coexist in the network. The first one is external. when you create an external virtual switch, all the virtual machines that you connect to this switch are going to have access to the physical network of your computer. This is like being physically connected to your network. Then there is the internal switch. This one provides connectivity with the host operating system and also between virtual machines. And then there is the private network, in which there is no connectivity with the host computer, but virtual machine can talk to each other inside the network. For our lab environment, we are going to use the internal switch, which allows communication between virtual machine and communication with the host operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and click internal, and then I'm going to click on create virtual switch. I'm going to give it a name. Since I've already created internal one, I'm going to name this one internal 2 for sake of this demonstration. And that's it. That's all I have to do. Next, you can write a comment here. For example, if there is a range of IP address that you plan to use within this type of virtual switch, you might want to write here in the comments. And then go ahead and click apply. Notice now that I have the switch here. These are all my switches. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. From this point on, I can select a virtual machine, right click on it, and then click on settings. And then if I scroll down to where it says network adapter, and notice that here where it says virtual switch, if I click on this drop down menu, I have the option to select many of the switches that I have created before. For the remaining of this course, we are going to place all our machines inside the internal one switch. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. In this section, we are going to add an additional hard disk to our Windows server. So I'm going to click on my Windows server, and then I'm going to right click on it, and then I'm going to click on settings. And here I want to click on IDE controller, and then I'm going to click on hard drive, and I'm going to click on add. Here on the virtual hard disk, I'm going to go ahead and click new, and this is going to launch the new virtual hard disk wizard. I'm going to go ahead and click next. I'm going to leave it as VHDX. This will be a dynamically expanding hard drive. Click next. I'm going to name this one Windows Server External Disk. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. Next, I'm going to allocate the amount of storage. I'm going to select 20 gigs. And actually, I'm going to leave it as 40 gigs. Then I'm going to go ahead and click next. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and click finish. Apply and OK. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start the Windows server and click start. Alright, so next I'm going to log in. And I'm going to minimize the server manager. And I'm going to right click on the start menu and go over to disk management. We are going to configure the newly added disk into our Windows server. Okay, so notice that as soon as we open the disk management, it detects that we have a newly attached disk. So we need to initialize that disk in order to use it, in order to partition it and install a file system in it. So for the default, I'm going to leave it as default, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And notice that the disk is now online, but it's showing us unallocated space. So in order to use the disk, in order to use the space, we need to right click on it and create a new simple volume. Here I'm going to go ahead and click next. I'm going to use the full size of the disk for my volume. Click next. I'm going to assign a drive letter. I'm going to leave it as default E, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. Here, what type of file system do we want to partition, install in our partition? I'm going to leave it as NTFS, and notice that you have the FAT32 option and REFS. I'm going to leave it NTFS. The allocation unit size is going to be default, and for the volume I'm going to call it data and perform a quick format. I'm going to go ahead and click next and finish. And notice that it has finished. So from this point on, if I right click, I can click open or explore, and this is going to open the file explorer. In this section, I'm going to show you how to add a second network card into your Windows Server virtual machine. For that, let's right click on the server, go to settings. In the settings section, make sure we click on add hardware. Here I'm going to click on network adapter, and I'm going to go ahead and click add. And notice now that I have two network adapters under the SCSI controller. Next, I'm going to connect this one to the default switch. And notice that this one is connected to internal one, which is the internal network. And this one is connected to default switch, which is going to allow me to have connection with the local system. I'm going to go ahead and click apply and OK. And then next, I'm going to start the server. Double click on it. Click start. I'm going to go ahead and close the server manager and right click on the start menu. Click on network connections. Click on change adapter options. And notice now that we have two Ethernet adapters. So if I right click on my second Ethernet adapter and go to status, and let's go ahead and click on details. Notice that this one has a complete different address. This the network address here is 172.27.190. Let's make sure that we have connection to the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and do Windows R, CMD, and I'm going to ping google.com. And as you can see, we have internet connection. In order to create a virtual machine running Windows 11, I'm going to take advantage of the quick create link, which is here at the top on the right hand side. I'm going to click on quick create, and this is going to launch the virtual machine creation wizard. I'm going to select, I have different options here. Notice that I have an option for Ubuntu 18, 20, 22 and Windows 11 development environment. So basically what this is going to do, this is going to download the image from the Microsoft website, and it's going to set up the virtual machine for us. So it's kind of like a quick way to create a virtual machine. So notice here that you have another option here. If you want to do a local installation source, and that is if you have the ISO image on your local system. Here on the right hand side you have more options. Here you can rename or provide a name for your virtual machine. And notice that I already have one 11 development environment, so you want to give your virtual machine a unique name. So I'm going to call mine Windows 11 Dev Home 1, and for the network I'm going to leave it as default switch, and I'm going to go ahead and click create virtual machine. At this stage is downloading the image, and then it's going to proceed with the installation of the operating system. This is a lengthy process. It takes at least 10-15 minutes, so be patient and wait until Windows finish the installation. Alright, so once the process finished, you get this message: a virtual machine created successfully. Go ahead and click connect. You can additionally click on edit settings. Let's go ahead and edit some settings for the virtual machine. Here I want to click on the memory section and notice that the Quick Create wizard assigns 2 gigs as RAM for the virtual machine. We want to change this to be, if possible, if you have enough memory in your system. If not, just leave it the way it is. But I want to assign 4 gigs of memory. I'm going to type 4096. And here what it says, enable dynamic memory. I'm going to set the minimum RAM and the maximum RAM to be the same settings of this memory allocated here. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to say 4096 and 4096. Make sure you do this also for your Windows Server virtual machine. It improves the performance of the virtual machine. Next, I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and I'm going to go ahead and click connect. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and click start. Okay, so once the installation is complete, let's go ahead and click sign in.